This is a review of a video game. I'm John Barry, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So, before we get too far into the video, if you find yourself enjoying it, please leave a like. And follow me on social media, links are in the description for that. But before I get too far in my review, some basic generic thoughts, and then I'm going to give a spoiler warning. So, just to let you know, I have not finished the game yet. I've only finished the first 4 planets story-wise, so I haven't finished exploring those planets yet either. But what I've played so far, I've enjoyed it. There are some very frustrating moments though with some of the puzzles, and like some of the jumping from one thing to another. That can be difficult. And I think part of my problem could be I don't have the best machine. While I do have a custom built computer, I try to get the best components possible. I know it's not really a top-of-the-line gaming PC. And it's already 3 years old. I got it after I finished high school, and I graduated in 2017. So that can give you an inclination about how old my current computer is. So it's likely not the best computer for that. And I'm being smart. The game is only thing running when I'm playing it. But yeah, overall it's been a good thing. My only complaints really are probably more about my computer running the game than the game itself, if that makes sense. So every time I exit Kashyyyk, I do experience a bug. The Cowhee somehow jumps out of the ship. And the last 2 times I've been lucky and I was able to get back into the ship because I only barely clipped through the ship acid. But the first 2 times, I got totally out of the ship because I wasn't paying attention. I was like checking my phone or something, or reading, I forget what. But I got out of the ship, but I got to run in hyperspace for a little bit by total accident. And the only way out of it is to literally turn the game off and to turn it back on. Exit out, exit back in. The last 2 times I was smart. I paid attention. When I saw the clipping begin, I instantly started moving downward. It worked. So if you experience that bug, that's what you need to do. Hopefully that's only a bug on my end and not on your end. But that's really my only, I would say, game-related complaint. All my other complaints I think are related more toward my PC rather than to the game. But anyhow, I think there were a few other small bugs that I needed to exit out of the game and turn it back on. And that always seemed to fix it, except for with like a Kashyyyk one. But yeah, overall very little bugs which I do appreciate. And I did enjoy the game, so if you're debating whether or not you still want it, those few bugs I know I was talking about, there's no problem. They're either easily manageable, workaroundable, or you can have fun with them, like run through hyperspace like I did once, and that actually was kind of fun. But yeah, that was a bug, and I took advantage of it once, and I was like, okay, that's enough. I didn't need to take advantage of it again. But most of the time, if I experienced a bug, exiting out of the game, exiting back into the game kind of reset things. So that's just something that you may want to keep aware of. But overall, I'm hardly experiencing bugs at all. It's like, like once a planet. That's like it. And I think that's pretty good considering how massive the planets are in the maps. But what am I thinking in the story so far? Well, this is going to get into some spoiler territory, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the game, please, I would suggest putting this video in your watch later playlist and coming back to it once you have. But anyhow, let's get into the game proper. Now, you guys are probably wondering why I have not been showing any game. Again, I'm devoting all my computer power to playing the game, so I haven't been recording it at all. I want to record it, but I'm just playing the game straight through first. I'll probably, once I play through once, I'll probably do a live stream with it, hopefully, or maybe a Let's Play series. It all depends on how my PC is able to do it. I'll probably be running some tests. But as for the story, I'm very intrigued. At the point in the story I'm at, Cal is at Ilum and he's most likely going to be building a lightsaber. So I'm expecting at some point to run into the Empire on Ilum. I just am. So with that said, let's actually backtrack. So the story opens up on that scrapper, that planet that has a bunch of ships where Cal's working as a scrapper. And then he has a friend in Abazido, I think is the species name. I forget the character's name. But basically that character, he sacrifices himself so Cal can get away when the the second sister, and I think it's also the ninth sister, show up. And that's pretty impressive that he basically provides a delay for Cal, while also, being pretty brave, because not the safest thing to do to stand up to somebody with a lightsaber who can kill you. And he does sadly die. But Cal does get away, and that's when he meets up with the main characters that he interacts with, which, again, I apologize, but their names kind of slip through my mind. I'm not really the best with names. But as for that, we learn a lot about Cal's history through flashback moments. Basically, interacts with something Force-related, whether it be like he presses his hands up against the wall, senses an echo that brings him back to a training session with his master, who happens to be a Lasat, and then, or he meditates after doing something specific, and that results in another flashback scene. That one is actually of Order 66 itself. It's like, it begins differently of all the other flashbacks, which begins in the training room with his master. But the flashback before Order 66 begins different. It begins in Cal's room. He walks out and he walks to the training center and he's interacting with the clones. And you're like, oh no, Order 66 is coming soon, isn't it? It's like, that mindset is in your head as you're doing it. He's interacting with them. Because it has been established him interacting with the clones previously. But, so this sense of dread is feeling, like expecting it to happen at any moment. But you get to the training room safely. And then you have to basically combine all your skills to get up to a certain point to meet with Cal's master. And at one point, actually, a clone does fire at you as part of the exercise. When did that happen? Like, is he fighting a grappling hook that I have to force pull? It's like, no, Order 66 is happening. It's like, no, okay, it's part of the training exercise. But if you see what that does, like, it's playing to those fears. And then it does happen. They both survive the initial happening of it, and they fight their way to the escape pod. Well, Cal's master does. Cal just claws through the ductworks for the most part, except for a few blaster bolt deflections. But unfortunately, Cal's master does die, and Cal loses his lightsaber doing all this. So Cal gets his master's lightsaber, and then we go to Ilum. All that is connected. I'm really only talking about that part because, well, it's the part I probably enjoyed the most. Maybe it's because I wasn't getting lost all the time. Yeah, I got lost a few times, no. On the first planet, Bogan, I literally was going around in circles like 5 times before I figured out where I needed to go. So, there's that. But yeah, I did eventually figure out where I needed to go and all as well. But yeah, and every time also there's a flashback, Cal learns a new key skill that helps him further along, and that's actually how it is explained Cal's kind of lack of force powers in the beginning. He basically has a mental block against them, like he's slowly remembering how to do them. And like the biggest block was literally because of his master's death. And that's, at the point in the story I am now, he now has to, now that memory has been unrepressed. Because it essentially was a repressed memory from this mental block. Now Cal has to deal with that, and I think that's why we travel to Ilum. But yeah, and then because we're exploring this, the history of a species known as a Zepho, or that the planet, but we explore their culture and how they were connected to the Force and all that throughout this episode, which the Empire is also interested in. So the Zepho stuff on Dathomir, we don't have to deal with the Empire at all. Have to deal with Night Brothers though, so that backs, and that, and one Night Sister, but not much, and also a crazy old Jedi who's embraced the dark side on Dathomir. Yeah, lots going on that planet. I'm curious about that. Is that going to come back into play? Because I suspect we haven't seen the last of that night sister Mirren and that crazy old Jedi who's in this dog. So I suspect we have not seen the last of them. Because they feel like major characters that we should encounter again. Again, I'm pretty sure we're going to encounter the second sister a few more times. The second sister has a key connection with one of the characters, the former apprentice of, what's her name? Basically, the former Jedi who recruited Cal on the mission that Cal's going on now, basically. So there's a whole story involved in that, and I won't get too much into that because I feel like you need to experience that yourself. There are some characters I definitely expect on seeing again. But yeah, that's really all I have for you today. So those are just my thoughts on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. What are yours? I would love to hear them down in the comments. And I'll leave you with this. Have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.